Our nation mourns and pays respect to this hero, Hadar Golden, finally laid to rest after these 11 years here in the military cemetery. Who was Hadar Golden? A Givati recon, Sayeret Givati officer, age 23, gifted artist. He would do designs. I mean, his parents took his work around the world, in the US, in the UN, but he was killed on August 1st, 2014 in Rafah. And it was horrible. That was during Operation Protective Edge, Tsuketan, I was there. That was in July 8th to August 26, 2014, to stop the relentless Hamas murderous rocket fire on our Israeli civilians and to destroy that tunnel network. We didn't do it. We didn't complete it back then. We should have. We didn't do it. And Givati Brigade, Sayeret Givati, was a reconnaissance unit at the time going in under Major Benaya Sarel, and went in there, and the incident happened at 9 o'clock a.m. and a ceasefire had just begun. And guess what? Around 9:16 a.m., Hamas fighters, evil terrorists, emerged from a tunnel, ambushed Golden's unit, and 2 soldiers were killed instantly, Sarel and Gidoni, and Hadar Golden was dragged into the tunnel just minutes after the ceasefire started. And this triggered what's called the Rafah incident, or Black Friday, when he was taken. CAS-led Oferet Yitzuka was the whole thing was to stop this rocket fire, to stop these tunnels, and you have Protective Edge, you have all kinds of different ones leading up to Swords of Iron, Charavot Barzel. He was engaged at the time to be married. He had plans to be married back in 2014, and I know there's so much that went on. I mean, the whole nation commemorates his life, and he's one of many, many heroes who have fallen. His parents have really done an amazing work to say, get him released. Even his body for a decent burial, get him released. And they did coordination with Egypt. It went all the way up to the highest levels with the ceasefire, Cairo-led ceasefire mediation to bring his body back, and also Oron Shaul. I myself was a very big part of trying to bring his body back with Yahalom. I'm not going to go into how much work we did to try to bring him home. So much. And debates and measures were saying, is it right to offer terrorists in exchange for returning the body of heroes like Hadar Golden? And this went on and on. I'm talking 11 years, right? So there was a high court petition to intensify the retrieval efforts, to intensify, not to let him be forgotten, not to let any hero be forgotten, and bring him back. International advocacy, the family went on channels, on news, with state security tracks, all kinds of different, with the UN, with the INRC, with all kinds of meetings with the IDF, public diplomacy, taking his art, as I said, around the world to bring him home to his final resting place, and all kinds of work with the UN, with all kinds of IDF chiefs, trying so hard, eventually culminating 2023 to 2025, this war against these militant, evil Hamas, murderous terrorists, said, hey, let's add him into the negotiation to bring his body, not only those who were massacred on the 7th of October, bring his body back. So you have a U.S. brokered truce framework. You have, finally, Abu Kabir Forensic Institute. When Hamas finally released his body, they checked that indeed was him and validated that it was him. November, right now, and recovered, and his remains recovered from that very tunnel that we were working on for so long. I don't want to go into the details of the amount of efforts of the army. And from that tunnel, right near there, is where his body was recovered from, handed over to the Red Cross, delivered to the IDF. And his weapon was a big story. I don't know if you remember, Golden's weapon, I showed that in other videos, was used as a big trophy by the Hamas. They took his gun and said, wow, we've dragged an IDF into 4,118 days of imprisonment, of being held as a political pawn in their diabolical game. It's horrible. And now, so many soldiers, so many diplomats, remembers our Minister of Defense, Israel Katz, messages from songs from Idan Ahmedi and from so many are here to, along with the parents, Leah, Simcha Golden, to be able to see him be laid to rest is it's a moment of closure. It's a moment of longing. And so they said it's only moral, it's only right that he should be returned, not as a political bargain, but he should be able to have honorable burial as a hero of Israel. And you have this from the time of the Bible, from ancient time. You have Jacob. He told his children in the Bible, Genesis 49, verse 29, I am about to be gathered to my ancestors. And he says, bury me with my fathers. I'm about to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave of Machpelah, which, guess what, is also under dispute. Shouldn't be under dispute in Judea and Samaria there near Hebron. In Hebron. And so you have Barzillai in 2 Samuel. Barzillai says, I want to be buried in the grave of my father and mother. It's a heart cry to be buried. It's a tribal thing. People in the West might not get this. They say, just cremate me, dust me in the sea, cast my ashes in the sea. We have a covenant continuum, which our children come. It's a covenant continuum. Never leave a soldier behind, not even his body. You don't leave a man behind, not even his body. Abraham breathed his last breath. He was of old age. Genesis 25. And he says he's gathered to his people. And the same with Isaac, the same with Jacob. Isaac breathes his last. Genesis 35. And was full of days, was gathered to his people in the cave of Machpelah. Even that is under dispute. I can't believe this ridiculousness. Joseph, and he says, you will carry up my bones from here. In Genesis 50, bring me home to be buried with my people. That's what we're seeing right here. Moses fulfilled that oath and carried Joseph's bones through the wilderness on the Aliyah journey to the promised land. Is that not something that the West doesn't understand, right? And when King David died, it says the scriptures honor him with the same phrasing in 1 Kings 2 verse 10. It says King David died and he rested with his fathers and was buried in the city of David. So there's a deep meaning today for all of us, people of Israel. People of the world should understand what it is to bury a hero and to honor his sacrifice, to honor his legacy. It's a golden legacy. A golden legacy, Hadar Golden. You know, my own daughter was the very year she was born, her birthday was the very day he was returned. Her name is Hadar. His name was Hadar. I just believe for a time of healing to begin, a time of where we will bury the last of those who were murdered and stolen from us, and we just we thank all those who labored so hard to carry his artwork around the world, who to advocate for this so he's not forgotten. All these people came because people cared, and he's considered a national, collective symbol of our ethos and of heroism and of all for one, one for all. That's our way. As the police, the helicopters, the security personnel, we're all here to honor him and to gather him to our ancestors here in the Promised Land. Leah is the mother of Hadar Golden, and the father is Simcha. Simcha means happiness, so now Simcha, happiness, can return to Leah as she's able to lay her son to rest